Now folks, you'll see what I mean now. Now again, that's private news, so again it says parking for residents, so I don't know if strictly speaking it's like, look, I'll just try and show you one quick. But these musics, like I said, this is what they were about. Oh, hang on, actually, that's not quite, no, actually, that's not quite the example I was looking for. Yeah, that was kind of changed. But yeah, all these muses, like I say, look, see, it says West Eaton Place Muse, yeah, like back in the day, all of these places, well, virtually all of them anyway, had these things, and like I said, you know, it's where the horse and carriages and the servants that, you know, looked after those things were housed, essentially. I just noticed this thing as well. This looks really posh. I mean, look at this, flipping heck. Now, does that look exclusive or what? Look, flipping heck, it's like a royal gate. Wow, holy moly. That's what you call rather, what's that, isn't it? Wow, that's very sort of posh looking. Flipping heck. Right, okay, let's go back this way. So again, I just, yeah, it's just that, like I say, I'm just wary that, like, in some places, you know, people can be a bit funny about your filming. Do you know what I mean? So, alright, for the time being, until I come across an example of the moves I was trying to explain to you, I'll leave it there. Bye for now. Yeah, hi folks. So, yeah, I was just thinking, I was just standing here looking at all these streets that look almost identical to each other, with all these similar, if not the same, houses and buildings, and I was thinking to myself, what it was like back in the day, you know, when these things were first built, or not long after they were built, or whatever, and what kind of communities they were. Do you know what I mean? Did people know each other? And do you know what I mean? When they went out for a Sunday stroll, you know, they were walking past and they saw their neighbour and they sort of stopped and had a chat with their neighbour. Do you know what I mean? I was just curious. You know what I mean? Or were they very much like we are today in a lot of places? I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, there are communities that. Well, look, there's a really cool example of a muse actually, and I've never seen a muse like with an opening like this before. But yeah, look, this is a muse, right? And this is what I was saying. You see how, like, you see like these garages now, because they're all sort of turned into garages, and then you see the little windows upstairs. Well, that's where the servants lived, and these muses, like I say, this is where they would keep the horses and carriages. And obviously back in the day, I don't suppose they called them garages back then, but now we would call them a garage. Obviously people keep their cars in them now, but anyway, a lot of them have obviously been sort of modernised and so forth, and you know, a lot of them have been changed in certain ways and what have you, sort of thing. But there's some that still look very much like they did back in the day, and like I say, that's where they would keep, like I say, the horse and carriages, and upstairs, like I say, where there's little windows, is where the people that looked after the carriages and the horses would live. So, and then you see these things down here. This is where, back in the day, again with these houses, this is where the servants used to live. It's a bit like, I don't know if, I mean, now this is going back to about the 70s, so I don't know how many people who watch this video, you know, some of my older subscribers, I guess, around about my age, will probably remember it, I guess, and especially if they live in this country. There used to be a program called Upstairs Downstairs, which was like set in, I guess, the latter part of the 19th century, I think. Yeah, I think it would be about sort of middle part of the 19th century, somewhere in the 19th century anyway, and it all centred around this family whose name completely escapes me. I think, yeah, no, and they had a butler called Hudson. It's funny how some names just stick with you. But anyway, so yeah, that's where the servants used to live, downstairs, and that's where the kitchens used to be originally. Obviously these days a lot of these places, the kitchens, because a lot of them have been turned into apartments rather than just one single house, like I said. but back in the day they would have been just one single house. So a lot of these would have been just one single house, you know what I mean? Not sort of, like I say, these days they would have been turned into apartments, maybe even offices or whatever sort of thing. But yeah, like I said, back in the day they would have been one single house for one single family, and then, like I say, they would have had servants and what have you sort of thing, and so on. So right, okay, so let's let's head in this direction for now. Actually slightly, well, not lost, obviously, you know, not lost, I don't know roughly where I am, I'm just, you know, slightly, yeah, lost direction at the minute. So, okay, catch you guys later, bye for now. Another one of those blue plaques, guys. Do you know, it's funny, there's a ton of these blue plaques all over this place, around this area particularly. But yeah, so somebody that was Prime Minister twice, somebody called John Russell. I must admit, I've never heard of him, but then again, 1792 to 1878. Wow. But yeah, apparently he was a Prime Minister and lived there. Wow, so that kind of, like I say, that kind of shows you just how exclusive this area is. This battery is nearly dead. Wow, that is really interesting. It's actually a very interesting area, actually, as it goes. That's the thing with London, like I said, you know, that's why I do love it, because it is a fascinating place. There's no two ways about it. And you know, every time I say that, actually, it keeps reminding me of that Dr. Brown, was it Dr. Brown? I've forgotten his name now. I think it's Dr. Brown, isn't it? And look at these places, they look really, really cool. Actually, I love all the different architecture, and although a lot of, obviously, the architecture is very similar, obviously, but you know, it's just really, really cool. Yeah, you know, that saying that he said, you know, when you're tired of London, you're tired of life, and you know, it makes a lot of sense. It really does. It makes a heck of a lot of sense. Let's see, there's another one of those muses. Yeah, like I said, it does make a lot of sense, because, like, you know, in a sense, London is the world in a way, because there's every culture, every nation has an influence on it in some way or other. Do you know what I mean? And look, there's another one of those muses. Look, amazing. Yeah, so it's like, you know, the world's at your doorstep in a sense. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I guess that's, you know, you would get tired of life if you got tired of London. You'd be tired of life because, you know, like I said, I mean, there's so much to see. Do you know what I mean? And even if you live here for the whole of your lifetime, do you know what I mean? You still probably don't get to see all of it anyway, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it depends on how much you travel about, I suppose. Right, there we go. I am getting myself slightly lost, actually, now, as it goes. Yeah. Not like I say, I'm not completely lost, but I'm just slightly. What's that? I want to go and check this one. I'm getting rather, what's that about these signs, you see, saying private muses. It's freaking me out a little bit, because I'm expecting in a minute somebody to flipping start shouting at me about it. Do you know what I mean? But I just really want to show you guys, because I like these muses. Are really picturesque, some of them. They're really, really nice. So you see, look, there we go. See, and this is what you call, like I say, this is the muse. And then you've got all these little, what's things, where, like I said, where the garage doors are was where the horses used to be kept, and the carriages at one time. But now they're all like individual little houses in their own right, sort of thing. But they're very exclusive, like I said. You know, I mean, one of those places wouldn't surprise me. Could easily go for 2, 3, 4 million easy, and then that's just me making a complete guesstimate. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I might be way off for all I know. Do you know what I mean? It might be well more, it might be well less. You know what I mean? But and especially in this particular part of London, I would imagine that you know, those sort of prices for one of those little mews houses down there would not be beyond the realms of possibility. Do you know what I mean? Because, like I say, it's a highly exclusive area. And like I say, you know, the thing is that it's not just London. Sorry, it's not just this part of London that's what's name. See this there? I've got to show you this. This is so funny. I spotted this when I came across the road, and I thought I've got to film this because I thought this is so funny. This is a Rolls Royce, and look, it's clamped. I mean, you know, flipping heck, you know, to see a Rolls Royce clamped, man, it's just, I don't know, you'd expect like Joe Bloggsy's car to be clamped or something, but a Rolls Royce, you just wouldn't really think, would you? You know, it's like, you know, isn't that interesting though, isn't it? Because like, how we're conditioned, in a sense, do you know what I mean, through our society, the way we've organised our society, and that essentially through conditioning, my expectation is that because it's a Rolls Royce, therefore somebody with money and influence presumably and what have you sort of thing, and that two-tier sort of justice system that in a sense that we have, do you know what I mean? Because well, we have a two-tier justice system, just like the Americans and so on, where if you've got money, power and influence sort of thing, if you break the law in some way, you're not going to suffer the same sort of consequences that Joe Bloggs is going to suffer. Do you know what I mean, sort of thing? Because it's just the way it works, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And so we're conditioned to believe that, and we're conditioned to think that, like, because my first reaction was like, when I saw that, it's like, flipping it, you know, that you don't see that every day. Do you know what I mean? It seems such an unusual. If that had been just Joe Blogg's car, do you know what I mean? Just a regular flipping normal car, and I walked past and it had a clamp on it, I wouldn't even bat an eyelid. I wouldn't even thought about it. Do you know what I mean? But because it's a Rolls Royce and it's got a clamp on it, do you know what I mean? Straight away I'm like, wow, that's really unusual, and it's like, that's kind of ironic and funny all at the same time. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, wow, look at that, you know. And, you know, that just makes me then think, it's like, wow, isn't that interesting that I would react in that way? Because it's because of conditioning. Like I said, we're conditioned to believe in a certain way. We're conditioned that money and power and influence are the ultimate things that, you know, suggest status and you know, worth in that sense, you know what I mean? So that, like, you know, people's worth are determined on, you know, how much money they got, how much power they have, how much influence they have, you know what I mean, sort of thing. So, you know, it's interesting, it's interesting. So, right, okay, for the time being, I'll leave it there. That says Bentley on that, it's got a Bentley badge, but, oh wow, that's a Bentley, no way, I've never seen a Bentley like that before. Yeah, it's definitely a Bentley. Wow. Woohoo! There's some very expensive cars around here. Blimey heck. See what I mean about it being a very exclusive area, like I said. There's another Rolls over there. Oh, there's another Rolls Royce over there. You can see the, what's the name on the front? The little, what is that? Oh, actually, I think that's another Bentley. No, it's actually another Bentley, sorry. Yeah, because Bentleys and something look very similar. There's a Rolls over there though, I'm sure that's a Rolls. Flipping heck, man. You know, until I just started taking notice of that, I hadn't really been paying attention to that. And I hadn't really bothered about, you know, I wasn't really looking at what kind of cars are parked up and stuff like that. There's another Rolls over there, I think. No, that definitely looks like a Rolls grill. That's definitely a Rolls, that one. But flipping heck, it shows you, doesn't it? Wow, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to why I was holding the camera. Yeah. Well, I said to you. You know, and see, that's why I was saying about the King's Road, and the difference in terms of how people look and the way they're dressed, you know what I mean? Because like I say, I don't know what it is exactly, but to me it's kind of like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily think that there'd be that much of a difference. I mean, I get the fact that you can have a different quality, do you know what I mean, in materials. So I'm talking about the clothes that people wear and stuff and whatever, and the difference. And so, like, if you had a pair of jeans that cost you 30 quid, say, and then you went to a more exclusive place and bought a pair of jeans that cost you £150, say, I can understand that there's a difference in terms of the quality of the material, definitely, I would imagine. But personally speaking, I think to myself, well, is there like a vast difference in that sense? Do you know what I mean? I mean, I get that there can be a difference, and I can get that you can have a different quality, but I don't know. Anyway, the thing is that like I said, when you walk down the King's Road and you see what people are wearing, it's like, even though the clothes might be similar to what every ordinary other folk might wear, because they're more expensive, then therefore perhaps better quality, they seem to stand out more. They seem to be, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, waffle as usual. Right, I'm not too far away from, I'm saying, if I'm not mistaken, that's the top of Victoria. I think that's Victoria train station at the top now. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm not that far away from where I need to be anyway. Eaton Square. Because I know this church here as well. And if I'm not mistaken, hang on. I think Bookhouse is down that way. No, hang on. Is it? Oh, flipping out, I'm confusing myself. See, that looks like the top of... Maybe that's the top of Victoria train station, but you know, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not a million miles away from where I need to be, because I know that's church as well, Eaton Square. There's an A.A. meeting goes on in there on certain days of the week. Couldn't tell you what days of the week though, but it does. Right. Okay. So yeah, we'll go this way, I think, for now. Back to the noise after the peace and quiet of all those very, very posh streets. So, oh look, there's a BBC van over there. I say, this is the BBC. I shall put on my BBC voice. And what's that say? What? Something outside broadcast. Radio outside broadcast. I say. There's another one of those muses down there. This is the BBC. I have no idea what to say, so I can't keep it going. Yeah, this is the back of Bookhouse, yeah. Dong! Yeah, so Victoria. Here we go. See, I told you I wasn't a million miles away from where I need to. In fact, there's that tea thing, that taxi doofer. You see? Taxi doofer. You like my terminology or what? Taxi doofer. Yeah. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, there's another one of these blue plaques, look. So who was this one? What? Anthropologist and archaeologist. Can't read some of their names. Augustine, is it Augustus? No, Augustus Henry Lane Fox. Pitt Rivers. Right, okay. Huh. Lieutenant General. Okay. So, yeah. But yeah, look, that's that taxi thing that I was filming the other day. So kind of walking my way around in a big circle, essentially. And like I say, that's the back of Bookhouse just over there. You can see the little building, the trees, where those trees are over there in the distance. And those little white chimneys, that's Bookhouse. So, but yeah. Sorry, I was just flipping noise everywhere, man. It's got really noisy now. Right. Okay, so I'm going to check out the time. Flipping heck, a lot of vlogs this morning. Flipping sorry, trying not to swear. Although, I don't know, that's the thing. I mean, that's one of my dad used to say, flipping Nora. But I don't know, strictly speaking, is that a swear word, actually? Is that... that's the thing. You see, my dad used to say that a lot. And then I was just about to say that, and then I caught myself because I'm thinking like, oh, I'm swearing. But then I thought to myself, hang on, is that strictly speaking, is that swearing? Because I don't think you hear many people saying that. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, it come from my father, and like, you know, because of the era my father was born in and so on and what have you, sort of thing. I guess I've got a lot of old sayings that even people of my generation probably have never heard or actually used or heard used when they were youngsters. I don't know, maybe, but yeah. So like I say, just thinking about it now, I'm thinking like, is that really a swear word? Or would it be classed as one these days? That's a good question, actually. I never thought of that until just then. Because I'm thinking like, you know, I was about to, and like I say, I caught myself and I'm thinking like, hang on, I'm swearing, and then I suddenly thought, hang on, but is it? You know, flipping Nora. You know, because Nora's a person's name. Anyway, right, okay, so I'm going to leave it there and I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now. Hi folks, so yeah, work is just down there. In fact, I'll tell you what, that's probably not the best. Let me try standing here and see it better. See? So where that brown building is, that is where the shop is. Yeah. Interesting, don't normally look at it from this perspective. Right, yeah, and that was, by the way, when I was saying earlier on in one of the things, that was the top of Victoria train station that I was seeing. So anyway, oops, ow, I just tripped over something. Right, let's go this way, and yeah, it's still early yet. I mean, it's 25 to 9, thereabouts. So obviously I've still got just over an hour and 25 minutes yet. So don't know, and I don't feel as cold now. Now that I've been walking about, it's freezing cold when I come out of the house. But then it was still dark when I came out of the house. So right, okay. Later. Bye for now.